is bright and early on a Saturday morning. Um, Hello, welcome back to another episode of Can Talks. Um, Again, it's bright and early on a Saturday morning. I'm with my co-host Jules, and Jules, do you have any announcements for today?
I do. Let's go. So I apologize. I sound not great. I actually have COVID right now. Um, okay, so Alexa DeBar makes her Broadway debut today. What's so exciting, I love her Broadway debut. Debria made her Broadway debut on the 7th. Sean Avery made his Broadway debut on Tuesday. And if you live underneath a rock, Aaron Tveit made his Sweeney debut last night. And if you don't know, that means you've not been on Instagram or Twitter. um,
Oh man.
so
Or
much stuff
TikTok. It's
happening.
all over
Or
TikTok for me too.
I haven't checked TikTok yet this morning, so
Oh
that's
my God, it's like
my
every
next
video.
avenue. Oh yeah, my Twitter is just it's just full of Tveit, stage door Tveit. Speaking of stage door, that's our topic today.
Yeah, so obviously there's some casting changes going on across Broadway, and I just thought that it would be a good light reminder for new theater goers and also older theater goers to just be reminded about stage door etiquette and how to just be courteous to people, to the actors, and to everyone around you. Do you want to start it off or should I?
I can start it. Yeah, let's
Okay.
go. All right. So first thing, I've seen this a lot, people asking, but actors who don't stage door and why. So sometimes you'll go to a show, you'll see a show and you'll go to stage door, and some actors just don't come out. And why is that? Well, it's mostly personal preference. You actors don't have to stage door. That's not like a thing that's in their contract. It's not in the ticket price. It's not something that is they're told they have to do. So I think a lot of people get confused and they go to a show and they're like, why is this person on stage dooring? I want them to stage door. And honestly, it's just up to them. Sometimes they feel like it, sometimes they don't. Sometimes, they're human just like us. They get nervous. There's like a lot of people, maybe they just don't want to deal with that. In some cases that we've seen, especially at Rouge, some people have children, newborn children, and it's winter. You don't want to get sick to give back to your child. So it's mostly a combination of things of like being sick, not wanting to get sick, or just not generally wanting to do it. Again, it's nothing that they have to do.
Yeah, and just to like add to that, they perform this show 8 times a week. And even if it's something that's like more of a standstill kind of a show, like if any of you have seen Girl from the North Country, like that's more of like a Park and Bark show. There's not a lot of choreography like Rouge has it, but that is a very deep, emotional show. And to perform that 8 times a week, and as well as Rouge, which is a very physically heavy show, with Jules has her rep going. I do not. But yeah, I mean, Rouge is a very like dance heavy show. There's a lot of action going on, and then there's other shows that are just more emotional and they have to cry or vocally can be very hard. So number one, they're tired, they're exhausted, especially after like a 2 show day. They want to go home. They have been dancing and singing their butts off for 2.5 hours. So they want to go home, rest their voice, get something to eat, grab a cup of tea, and go to bed. And then it's just in general, like especially now because it's colder. The cold, I don't know if any of you kind of know the scientifics of it, but like I know like sometimes during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, a lot of the actors, when it's a certain temperature outside, they will lip sync to a pre-recorded track that they recorded because it is actually very unhealthy for their vocal cords to sing out in the cold or to be out in the cold. So And especially when, well, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is a little bit different because they're in costumes, and sometimes those costumes can be not particularly, suited for winter weather, but just in general, just being outdoors and breathing in that cold air can be very damaging to vocal cords, can get people sick. It's just not something that they want to do and want to risk. So, yeah, that's pretty much why actors don't stay short.
No, that's so true. Though, not to sound mean, I thought Macy Thanksgiving Parade was already like lip synced anyway. I thought like it's a thing that is lip synced every year. Am
It
I
might
wrong?
be because of the weather, but I don't know because like there have been particularly warmer days. I know the Mean Girls, for example, like Mean Girls on Broadway when they did Fearless, that was like they were in the negatives, I think. So of course they were lip syncing, but this year might have been warmer. So I think it just also might depend on the tracks.
Okay. Okay. So next, so it's oh my goodness, you guys.
Appreciate.
Appreciating what you get. So honestly, I see it sometimes. I've been to stage doors when they're like, "Hey, it's no photos. It's just signing, or it's either signing or a photo." Like it's, and sometimes they do both, but sometimes they'll just say, "Look, no photos tonight." Um, and I've seen people get mad at that. And I'm like, well, again, it goes back to the whole additive of like they don't owe us anything. They don't have to do this. So I think you just need to be you appreciate what you can get. I've been in instances where like I was at the stage door for Jojo and Derek's second to last show. We've talked about this before. And I remember it was Jojo came out and they said it's either a photo or an autograph. I was like, I have quite a few autograph things from Jojo, so I was like, I'm gonna take a photo. And so you make that decision. And it depends which one you want more. If you had the autograph, I was like, well, I already have like two signed playbills by her. I'm gonna take a photo. Um, so or sometimes I did actually the matinee when they were saying the photo or the sign. I got a video because my sister loves JoJo. She adores JoJo. And I asked JoJo if she would take a quick video for my sister. And that was like my thing I wanted. And I asked her really nicely. I said, "Would you be willing?" And it was like 10 seconds long. She said yes, and she did that for me. And that was like my interaction with JoJo. Or sometimes just a straight up, I don't even want that. I just want to talk. I just want to be like, "Hi, like you're great, blah 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 blah." Um, so yeah, appreciate what you get.
Yeah, for sure. That's so sweet with JoJo. I love her. Yeah, I also decided to get a picture because, similar to you, one of my really good friends is such a big fan of hers, and she actually introduced like her music, to me. She loves the song High Heels, and that has just been like one of my anthems ever since. So I was like, oh my god, I have to get like a picture just because like, I won't have my playbill with me when I go out to the movies with my friend the next time I see her. So I was just like, I might as well get like a picture and just show her the picture and be like, yeah, so I met JoJo. Of course she thought I said I meant JoJo Siwa, but JoJo with a Bobo. But no, I was like JoJo the singer. She's like, oh. But yeah, really appreciating what you get. I think yeah, it's just it depends. I mean, I was at Peter Pan Goes Wrong when Neil Patrick Harris was stage touring and I didn't see it, but I was like, it's Neil Patrick Harris. I'm obsessed with How I Met Your Mother, so is my friend. So we're gonna go stage door and see what happens. And um his husband and his two kids were in the car, and like it was literally just parked like right there for him just to dart out after signing. And it was one of his last shows. So like it was very kind and gracious of him to even come out when his kids and his husband are waiting in a car. But he said no photos. And, of course, there's people who are like, oh my God, can I get a photo? And it's like, no, no photos. He had to repeat it like 10 times. And I'm like, yeah, guys, like he has kids in the car. He wants to go home or get them dinner or something. It's a Saturday night. Like they want to do stuff with their family.
Yeah, no, I agree. Never know. Here we go. Excuse me. This COVID's been kicking my butt, you guys. Okay, so here we go. Seeing everybody in the show. So you don't have to sit there and talk to every single member. However, you need to, I feel like you need to appreciate people. I have seen it. I saw it at Stage Door. I want to say I saw it. I want to say it was either December. I think it was December. Last time I was at Rouge. Don't worry, guys. Next week I'm back at Rouge.
Me too.
um, it feels like it's been so long since I've
I
been back.
know.
I'm like getting withdrawals. So I saw it. I can't remember who the actor was off the top of my head. Normally stage doors are blur for me. And someone had their playbill out, and basically this ensemble member, I think I know who it was, but I'm not going to name them. And they basically like ripped their playbill away when that ensemble member was signing, and I hate that so much. I think it's so rude. I think it's disrespectful. Um, I don't know. I think you should respect every member. The ensemble makes the show, especially the show like Moulin Rouge. Even in shows like Hadestown and Sweeney Todd, and these are some shows I can think off the top of the head. The ensemble makes the show. Like it makes the show. And I hate when people are like super rude to them and be like, oh, I don't care about them. These people are like not all superheroes wear capes kind of thing because they keep the show going. Same with understudy, same with swings. They keep the show going, especially when COVID was really big. Oh my goodness, these people kept them going. So I think it's like you should really appreciate everybody you see. And if you don't want your playbill signed, don't bring it out. But don't present it if you don't want it. But don't sit there and present it and then rip it away when they come by. That's so rude. So rude. That's a pet peeve for me, and I don't like it. And I've had talks with cast members who have had that happen to them, and now they don't stage door because of that happening. And it's a shame because there's people like us who love the ensemble, and I love seeing the ensemble and talking to them, and they get shocked when you ask them to sign something because they're not used to it. So, but yeah, that's just my opinion.
Oh my God, yeah, I'm quite literally speechless. Like that's oh my God. Yeah, I mean, it's just you don't like you said, like you don't have to get an autograph if you don't want an autograph. You don't have to ask for a picture if you don't want a picture, but don't disrespect the actor because much like your favorite who might be the lead actor in the show, um they pour their heart and souls out into the show to make it what it is. And especially with Moulin Rouge. I mean, those can kicks, um, like absolutely insane. And to not appreciate the physical aspect of that and the work and the sweat that is put into the show by every single person on that stage and even the backstage crew, as well as the orchestra pit and the music director, his conducting. You know, they make the show and like the lighting, set design, they make the show run smoothly. And yeah, there's things that happen because it's live theater, but everything is designed for a show to go on. That whole saying, the show must go on, that everything is designed in a Broadway show or in a professional theater production for that to happen. And so to not appreciate the people who work incredibly hard to make sure that your experience is a great experience in the theater, it's heartbreaking to me, but I can't even imagine how the actor or the person who comes out to stage door and greet fans feels, because that's just, if it was me, I would be just like, not like, what the heck? I feel like you have a certain I don't know how to say it, confidence maybe. Um and people are excited to see you, and then there's that one person who's just like, nah, and it just kind of rips all that confidence away. That's just how I would feel personally.
Yeah, I agree. Um, moving on. Kind of talked about this, but well, no, we didn't talk about it. I'm gonna mix these two in. So people are disappointed sometimes when their favorite person doesn't come out, and I think it's hard because it's a feeling and it's an emotion. I think it's okay to feel it, but also on the other hand, like again, it's that whole well, they don't owe you anything and they don't have to come out. But again, you're like, oh, I really want to meet this person. And there is people who generally are like, I really want to meet them and all this. Because they're like huge fans. And if they don't come out, okay, it might be a little bit disappointing. And I get that, that's human emotion. But also on the other hand, like it's a gamble. I like to say it's a gamble because it's you don't know. You don't know unless they specify and they like for example, Jordan Fisher said that he's not doing it anymore. Unless they specify, it is a little bit of a gamble. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. When I saw Moulin Rouge for the first time, I stage door and I met a few people and it was great and I was very grateful for everyone I met. I think I met like David who plays the Duke, and I met Jay who's Baby Doll. I met a few other people. Yeah. um and Aaron didn't come out. I was like, okay, cool. Like I knew he doesn't stage door a lot, so I was like, oh, okay, well, you know what? It happens. A little bit like I was a little bit like, damn, it sucks, but also I don't blame him. And then that night he stage doored, I saw, and I was a bit like, damn it. But also on the other hand, I was like, well, I'm here at Hamilton. Let me enjoy Hamilton. But again, it's that it can be disappointing, but again, you're playing that gamble. But you can't really blame them. Like I said, if they want to, they want to, and if they don't, they don't. Again, like people are like, don't stage show matinees. No one comes out. I'm like, actually, you'd be very surprised how many people come out of matinees, and who you can see. So you never know. So take that chance, and you never know what's gonna happen. Stage door can be really fun, but that's just my like thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna also combine one more point in there. I'm going down a few. Sorry, Jules. Um, I wrote a very scatterbrained list of things to talk about. So all my points are everywhere. But yeah, I mean, it is a gamble, and especially for like, well, Jules lives in Florida, I live in Ohio. So when we're traveling, we put a lot of money into a plane ticket, a hotel. It's not as easy as a $10 train ride for an hour and back, or a car ride and back for an hour and a half or something. So we're not able to go to a lot of Broadway shows as much as our friends in New York or New Jersey, but when you're traveling a long way and you're going to see a specific actor, I don't want to say that you have a certain expectation, because like expectation is a little bit more of like a it's kind of a debating word, but like you have sort of like you want to see an actor and you want to meet them, you want the chance to meet them. But I was it was pretty much the same thing when I saw Moulin Rouge for the first time. Aaron didn't come out. It was a matinee. I was like, okay, it's fine. Thankfully my dad and I didn't really have much to do at night, and I was like, can we go back at night and see if he comes out then? I had already seen the show, so like, I had at least something to talk about. And my dad was just like, yeah, we can check it out. And so we did, and he did fortunately come out that night to sign and take pictures. And I feel very fortunate that happened, but I know that doesn't always happen. And as you said, it's a gamble, and actors will do whatever they want to do because they are humans. They have priorities like sleep, rest, vocal rest, stretching their bodies out, showering, getting something to eat. They have priorities just like we do. If they're allowed to, or if we're allowed to call out sick for work, they're also allowed to do that.
They have a
um
life.
Exactly. They have a life outside of performing. They're not robots that are programmed to come out and stage door and meet you guys. And I'm sure that they all want to. It's just that sometimes you're just not feeling it, and that's okay. And skipping down a few points, Jules. It just I said that like Darren is nice and like Darren Criss, Little Shop of Horrors, anyone. Um, he is nice enough now to like pop out of the theater, even if he's not like full on stage touring and meeting fans individually. He did for his opening night, and it's a gamble for him. He's been sick this past week, so he kind of wants to stay away from the crowd, and he's been doing interviews and press and stuff for the show. So he probably has to get ready for all that, but he is nice enough to go out and just make a general speech that says, "Hey, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for supporting me and this wonderful cast." He even said something about the swings, which I love because there have been a lot of swings in because illnesses have been running around that show. So it's just like he's nice enough to come out and just say, "Hey, I appreciate you. I don't unfortunately don't have time to meet every single one of you and take pictures and sign for every single one of you, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming." And even that is like super nice. A lot of actors don't do that. They sneak out a back door, or they just sneak by, um, while other people are signing. So, just appreciate, like before, like we said before, just appreciate what you get.
No, for real. Oh, here's another one. I've seen this happen before.
Me too.
Don't ask security guards if people are gonna come out. I've seen so many people ask, "Is this person coming out? Is this person coming out?" They don't make up the decision if they're coming out or not. They honestly probably don't really always know. They just do their job. Security guards just do their job and make sure people are safe. Um, Speaking of security, though, off topic, I saw some videos and photos of stage door last night at Sweeney. They had the NYPD there.
Oh my
I
God.
was like, whoa.
Well,
If
I mean, that
anyone,
crowd was
that
huge.
crowd was huge. It was all the way in like halfway through the street. It was crazy. It was insane. Um,
My mom thought it was for Hamilton. I was like, no, mom, that was for Aaron
mm,
Tveit.
yeah. Well, and Joe Locke as well.
Yeah.
I think and Sutton. I mean, they're all big names. So, yeah, I saw that NYPD was there last night. Sorry, off topic, but I just saw that and I was like, whoa. The fact that NYPD had to get involved, that was something. I mean, I saw the photos. It's in the street. It's halfway in, like no cars can get by, kind of thing. Like it's nearly touching the marquee what's across the street. Like it
Yeah.
was
If
insane.
any of you have seen like the Ham for Ham shows, like I went for a Ham for Ham shows, it was pretty much like that. I mean, they have that section blocked off for Ham shows because I mean it's Lin-Manuel. It was Lin-Manuel Miranda and Josh Groban, so like, of course they're probably gonna have that cut off because those are also big names. But like, yeah, it was pretty much the same kind of crowd, maybe even bigger.
It's insane. But yeah, just like they don't know. Don't give them a hard time and don't, tell them ask them to come out. They're not gonna do that. Because again, that's not their job. Their job is to keep you safe and the actors safe. Anyway, moving on. I think this is a great time. Do you have any good stage door horror stories, Lily? I do. I have some great ones.
Um, I mean, yes and no. So there's this one time that I stayed sure. It's not really like a horror story. Like I've never really had like a really like bad experience, knock on wood, that I don't. But like um there was this one time I was at Boys in the Band, and I mean they had some pretty big names. I mean it was Matt Bomer, Jim Parsons, Andrew Rannells, and then they made a Netflix movie about it, which I loved because I didn't actually see the show, but it was my 18th birthday. I was excited. I had just met Corey Cott, who is Casey Cott's brother, who is coming back to Broadway, which I'm very excited for. Um, And he was just like, I was like super into theater, still am, but I was like super into like performing and stuff. And Corey Cott, this is so sidetracked, but Corey Cott just goes, and it's my 18th birthday, by the way. He goes, I hope we can perform together someday. And I broke down in the middle of the streets of New York. I swear to God, I cried. um, I was tearing up so much. But I went to Stage Door Boys in the Band, and that came out, and I was there very early, so I was like like in the first row. There was not like, it's not like Sweetie, it's not like 10 rows back, but it was maybe a good 5 rows back. And I'm small, I'm 4'11", I'm very small. And when I'm up against these rails, like I was up against the rails or whatever, and people are pushing forward to get a good picture or a good glimpse of Matt, which by all means, I understand he is a beautiful human being. But I mean, it's dangerous. It can be very dangerous, because people who push, I mean, you can get squished, and that's very, like, a lot of things can happen out of that. My mom can tell this story, and I'm gonna butcher it, but my mom was actually at this concert, and she had tickets in the seats, so she got to go like a little bit later. But of course, there's the at a concert, there's always gonna be a pit.
Mosh pit.
Yeah, there's the pit. And like apparently they were like warming up or something like that. Like the band was warming up and they thought the concert had already started, and people rushed and pushed to the pit, to the stage, the people who had pit seats, and people died. People quite literally got trampled over and died. Um, and that's like a serious issue. And obviously, like, it's a concert, circumstances, but still, like, the crowd can be insane. And when people push just to get a good look or a good glimpse or a good picture of an actor, you have to be kind and courteous to the other people who are there, because they don't want to be pushed, first of all. Second of all, it can be very dangerous, especially if you're up against the rails. Oh my God. Wait, did you see that? That was so weird. I don't know. Sorry, there were just balloons on my screen.
Interesting.
Anyway, I don't know what that was. Anyway, we're not celebrating any of that, by the way. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think Jules is trying it now. Um, but I think it's a good lesson to learn. Just be courteous to other people and don't act like they're invisible.
So true. There was a concert back in my hometown, this is a while ago, back when I lived in England, and that exact thing happened and someone died because they got pushed and trampled on. Um, Horror stories. Oh my God, I got such a good one. Okay, so I was at Rouge in August of last year, and I went to the show. Stage door was pretty like chill. It wasn't like crazy busy. And Casey comes out, and I'm just waiting. He's going down the line. And next thing I know, I have kind of long hair, and I normally have my hair down. Someone grabbed my shoulder, and in the process, they pulled my hair. And so I'm like, oh, wait, oh, excuse me. um, Ouchies. And I turn around, and it's this person, and they go, can you take a photo of us and Casey together? And I was like, okay. Um, I don't mind taking photos for people. I don't mind it. I do it for a lot of my friends. However, let's normalize not touching people and pulling them and grabbing them. That's what threw me off. I was like, not really, because I didn't. I like I said, they grabbed my shoulder, pulled my hair in the process, and I gave her this look like well, don't touch me. Like that's nothing. Don't touch people at stage door. Don't push. Like I don't like it. I don't want to be touched by random people. That's not a thing. But I remember that happened, and it put a sour taste in my mouth. I can't tell you how many times I've been at Rouge and people have like pushed me and shoved me out of the way. Um, and I've had to like turn around and tell people like, can you please stop pushing me? I've had umbrellas like hit me in the face and I've been like, can you stop? And it's okay to stand your ground and be like, please stop doing that because it's not fair to you. When I saw Sweeney in June last year, I went Jordan Fisher's final weekend. I was in the city. I was like, oh, let's go try and get tickets. And I ended up getting tickets, and it was really great. Awesome show. I love Sweeney. I'm going back next week. I do love it. One of my favorite shows. And I remember I was able to get a sort of good spot at stage. So I was maybe like 2 rows behind, but I was still able to get my playbill signed. But I remember that night and it was pushing and it was shoving and it was people's arms in your face and just like, oh my goodness. I remember my mum was there with me and my mum had to step out. I told her, I was like, don't worry, I'll be fine. And I remember getting out of that and I was like, never again. So when I saw that photo of
Yeah,
Sweetie,
I was about to say.
when I saw that photo of Sweeney stage show yesterday, I was like, whoa, no, 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 no.
Oh God.
I was like, last time was not a good time. So I'm like nervous next week for it. I'm like nervous. I'm like, I don't know if I want a stage tour. I said to my friends, we're gonna see how it is, and if it's crazy busy, we're gonna go to Five Napkin Burger and get food. Because we have another show that night. So I was like, I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I know I'm gonna feel uncomfortable. I'm gonna get hurt. Just yeah, I can't do that to myself. I get some people want to do it because they really want to see these actors, and I appreciate that, but I just don't like it. I don't. I This is like for my own protection and my own. If I don't feel comfortable, I'm not going to do something like that. But that's just like mostly my stage door horror stories. That's all I have. I only have like those really free, two free
Yeah, I
bad
mean
moments.
the pushing is crazy. Wait, but was the stage door as crazy at Sweeney when you went as it was last night?
Not as crazy, but it was like a good.
It was
It
pretty,
was
yeah.
just in the street, so it wasn't fully in the street, and the security was like trying to get people because it was. Well, Josh didn't even come out. I remember that night Josh Groban didn't come out, and some people left, but not very many. So it was still pretty busy, but I wouldn't say it was like halfway, nearly at the Marquee Theater like it was last night. Last night was
Wild.
whoa. I was
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, maybe not.
Oh man, wild. Um, yeah. I mean, stage door horror stories are a thing. Honestly, just PSA of the day, just be kind to people. Be courteous. Um, don't act like people aren't there. And act like a good human being. Just be nice to people, guys. It's not that hard.
Like, don't you'll get your moment. Like, don't. I've had it like I've seen this quite a few times at Rouge because everyone knows me. Rouge is the most show I've seen the most, and I stage there every time I go. I've had it like an actor has been there, and I like hand out my playbill, and someone has like come in next to me and just been like, oh, can you sign this? And I'm like, whoa, whoa, like right in my face. And I had this like look on my face, like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I've had people like nearly hit me in the face with their arms just to put their playbill out. I'm like, see, this is what we're not going to do. So we're not going to do that. But anyway,
People just annoy me sometimes, okay? Just, anyway, I think honestly, like just going back to like the whole like actors thing, like whether they stage or not, just if you can find a fan who's actually like really nice or whatever, it's super fun to talk to fans who are like in love with the same show that you love. It's just like it's really, really fun to interact with them, like see how they got into the show, see who they're a fan of. And it's a really kind of fun way to pass time while you're waiting for actors too. So just in general, like that's a fun thing to do. But just like another point here, it's I saw, I'm not gonna name any names, but like on Twitter, I saw somebody just kind of go, and it's another Darren Criss story, but somebody just went like, well, Darren Criss like can't make any excuses that there's so many people out outside waiting for him because Daniel Radcliffe, who has probably a bunch more fans, every show, you know, stage doors quite frequently. And I was just like, guys, like it doesn't matter. Like Daniel Radcliffe and Darren Criss are two different people. Besides them both playing Harry Potter, they are two different people. Oh, Darren Criss.
Aaron played Harry Potter. What am I missing?
A little bit of a Darren Criss history for you guys. So Darren Criss in college when he was at the University of Michigan, he made this thing called he made like a production company called Star Kid Productions. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Jules. Um, do you know the lyric, I don't want to do the work today. I don't
Yeah.
really want to do that's from a Star Kid production
Oh.
show. I think it's called Firebringer. But I don't know if he wrote that, but he wrote this show while he was in college called A Harry Potter Musical. It's all about Harry Potter, and he played Harry Potter in the show.
Okay, you had me so confused because like I've seen all those Harry Potter films on the time that I can count. I've never seen Darren Criss in them.
Yeah. So alternate universes, they both played Harry Potter, but they're two different people, bottom line. Just because Daniel Radcliffe wants to stage door one night does not mean Darren Criss will want to stage door as well. They are human beings. It depends on their feelings, how they are feeling physically, emotionally. Daniel Radcliffe may be having a really great day and really wants to meet fans and is very passionate about it. Darren might feel like, I mean, he has a pregnant wife at home right now. He's been sick. He just had a birthday. He might just want to chill. You know, just kind of chill, have like a movie night with his wife. And he has a daughter at home too, so he might want to like put her to bed, and have kind of special moments with her. So, it depends on their life and, how they are feeling. And one actor might feel okay, another actor might feel not so okay about it, and that's okay. So just because you see one actor stage dooring does not mean another actor is quote unquote making excuses not to stage door, because at the end of the day, it is their decision, it is their life. So,
No, you're
yeah,
so real for that because I've seen people. I saw someone complain on Facebook about Alex Brightman not stage touring. Um, and they were like, so I don't know the full story, but allegedly he got threatened at stage tour. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't know enough about it, but that's just what I read again. So I take everything I read with a grain of salt. I'm not saying it didn't happen because I'm not surprised if it did. But and someone commented about it because they were complaining about how he doesn't stay sure, and then they commented they were like, well, it's not like he's a big name, and I'm like, that's not the point. That's not the point. It doesn't matter if they're a Hollywood superstar or if this is their first Broadway gig. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Um, it's their preference. Honestly, it baffles me. But yeah, I just wanted to put my 5 cents in.
yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. Another point is that having a conversation versus asking for pictures. I know, Jules, do you want to talk about the Jordan Fisher TikTok?
Yeah, I know we've mentioned it before, but Jordan Fisher, star of Hadestown, spoke about stage touring in a TikTok a few weeks, maybe like a month ago, I think.
Yeah.
And he mentioned about why he doesn't stage tour anymore. And he basically kind of said about how like he thinks it's just more people just want that like photo and they just want like it's and I understand it feels like it's more of like a people just want that kind of they want that photo. They don't actually care about the human interaction. And sometimes it's just nicer to have the human interaction in the photo. I mean, I sometimes still take photos. It just, again, it depends, but sometimes I just like to say hi and I just want to like talk. And just like, especially if you've seen the show a lot, and sometimes the actors will recognize you, it's just nice to say hello, how are you, blah 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 blah. I don't know. Sometimes you don't have to shove a camera in their face to have an experience with them. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't do that. Like I don't shove a camera in anyone's face, but I can't sit here and say that I don't take photos with any cast members or anyone I've seen the show with, because I do. But also on the other hand, sometimes it's like, if they say no photos, all right, no photos, that's fine. I'd rather like be like, oh, how are you, or just to say hi and appreciate them, because these people work so hard. I could not do what they do. And just appreciate, and like I said, if you've seen them a lot of times, it's sometimes nice just to like, oh, it's good to see you again, and all this stuff. So I think it's 50-50. Like I said, I can't sit here and say that I don't take pictures, because sometimes I do. Um, Sometimes I just like, I want to have that moment, but also sometimes I like to like just have a conversation. I think that not everything has to be documented. Um, that's one thing I think about social media, is not everything has to be documented anymore. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think that I think like I'm also like not gonna sit here and say like I don't take pictures, because I definitely do take pictures. And I think the thing about it is that like if you want to take a picture, sometimes you just have to ask very nicely. I do it always like after they sign a playbill, or after we have a good human interaction, um, whether it be brief or a little bit longer. Just even saying like, hey, you were really good in the show. Like, you were amazing. The show was great. I loved it. Can we get it? Can we snap a quick picture? That is something that I always say. Um, and I
Sorry.
might say, no, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. You just said that, and it just reminded me. If you go to a show and you don't like the show, don't tell the actors at stage door that you hated the show. Please don't do that.
Has that
Okay.
happened? I feel like you
Yes,
told me that happened
that happened,
before.
and a cast member in Rouge mentioned it in their story. Like, if you don't like a show,
Oh my God.
do you know what? Not every show is going to be everyone's cup of tea. I can name some shows I don't personally like. Doesn't mean I hate the actors, just don't like the show. Wicked, for example, not a huge fan. Phantom of the Opera, just not a huge fan. It's just not my cup of tea. But I wouldn't go see it and then tell the actors didn't like it. That's rude. If you don't like a show, theater is subjective. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But someone else may love it and might be their favorite show. But don't go to stage door and tell the actors, yeah, I actually hate the show. Don't do that. Don't do that, please. Sorry, I just had to add that quick tidbit because you mentioned it. I was like, wait a second. But yes.
I mean, that's also a very good point. Like, you wouldn't go, you would not go to a movie and like say to one of the actors in the movie, like, I hated the movie. Like, it just does not, don't like talk about it with your family, talk about it with your friends or whatever, but don't go directly to somebody who put a lot of hard work into a show that they performed in, that they're working at, and say, I didn't like it. That's just not why. Why are people like this? I don't understand. But as I was saying, like, even saying something like, hey, I love the show, you were great, before asking for a picture is a good interaction, because it's showing that you have sincerity. It shows that you have kindness, um and you are kind enough to say, hey, I really like the show, you were great, can we get a picture? And what I usually do is I usually say, hey, you were great, as they're signing or whatever, and then super quickly, and I already have my camera open. That's also a really good point. if you want to take a picture, already have your camera open. I know Darren does this thing because he doesn't want to like take selfies with everyone, and it takes a while to like get a good selfie or whatever. So what he does is he says like have your cameras rolling, like have your videos rolling, then just present the phone. He might do a little wave, a smile, or something like that, and then you can screenshot from that video that you have with him, or you could just post the entire video. But that's just some ways, but still always have your camera open because it just makes things go quicker. It makes things go more smoother or more smoothly, is the correct grammar. Um, Not everybody's going to be like Derek Lena, who literally and quite literally takes this sweet old time with every single person. I was there July 30th for his last show. It took him quite literally an hour and a half because, first of all, there were a lot of people out at the stage door, but he was kind enough to talk to everyone and take pictures with everyone and do what everybody asked. Like I got a video with him, which was really fun. And then there was somebody who asked him if he could do the like open up your eyes, then you realize like the little scare thing, and he did that for his fans. So, not everybody's gonna be a Derek Lena. So if you're asking for a picture, if you're asking for a photo, number one, be quick, be smooth with it. Do it in a way that it doesn't take up other people's time who also want an interaction with the actor and the actor's time as well. If they say no photos, be accepting of that. And just again, like don't always think that like a photo is something that you need. Sometimes just having a good talk, a good chat with somebody is really, really, really fun. When I was out with Dylan, actually, I didn't ask for pictures until the very end. Um, and he was the one who actually suggested it. So he's just like, yeah, let's take a few photos. I was like, okay, whatever. But like even then, like, and not to call my friend out, I love you, but if you're listening, I love you. My friend, she's when she we had a couple of drinks, and when she has a couple of drinks, she gets very like texty. She's just that kind of person, and she was texting someone, like she was texting someone she was involved with, and I was just like, no. And I had other like opinions on who she was texting and everything like that, but I was like, no, we're out with Broadway stars, like let's not do this right now. And I quite literally was like not on my phone, only to like text small little blurbs to my parents saying that I was alive. But other than that, I was just like, yeah, I'm enjoying this moment. I'm enjoying being here with these two Broadway stars. Kind of a cool experience. So I'm just gonna take it all in. So yeah. But Jules, I have a question for you. What do you think of pre-stage touring?
Um, pre-stage touring. So it's 50-50 for me because anyone knows me, I get to the theater early. I'm normally at the theater like an hour. Like the show starts at 7, I'm there at 6.
Me too.
Because me and my friends just stand there, we talk to security, sometimes we joke with the ushers. We just talk, we enjoy ourselves, we take photos. And sometimes you see the actors and they'll come by and you'll say hi to them. Um, I have asked for a photo before. So I don't know, like I feel like I'm a little guilty of it, but like only because like I've seen some actors, I'm like, hey, how are you? And then like ask for a photo. So like I don't know. I don't purposely do it. I don't camp out at stage door just to get photos. I think it's more of like I said, I'll just be there and I'm like, oh hi, I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it. Um yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm also one of those people who get this stage or not the stage door, but I'm one of those people who gets to the theater early. For me, it's because that line can sometimes, because you have to go through security, you have to go through bag check. So it takes a little bit of a while and you have to scan your tickets and everything like that. So I like to get there early so I can like get into the theater early so then I can go to the bathroom before I sit down. I feel like every episode I talk about my pee. I'm so sorry, guys. It's just a thing. It's a Hamilton thing. It all started at Hamilton when I climbed over people to get to the bathroom, but during intermission. But um, anyway, no, I mean, I like to get to the theater early. Sometimes I buy merchandise. It just depends. I like to take pictures inside the theater, especially Moulin Rouge, because that theater is decked out and it's just so cool, and I love getting pictures in there because it's like I love the vibe and everything like that. And the ushers are always like so nice and like they're like, yeah, I can take a picture for you, which I love. And so yeah, that's what I do. I always get to the theater early just because of time and stuff, and I don't want to wait in line so long. But yeah, I mean, I think that if like with you, Jules, if an actor happens to walk by and you just happen to be there early, taking pictures, doing whatever, talking to friends, you're not intentionally camping out there. You're not intentionally there to meet actors. Um, I think it's okay. You can always ask for a picture. It does not hurt to ask. That's one thing that I've learned is if you don't ask, it's never going to happen. So it does not hurt to ask. If they say no, they're in a rush. That's completely fine. Respect that, accept that, move on. But if they are kind enough to take a picture with you and it takes like 2 seconds to do it. But I personally would not like camp out and intentionally want to meet actors pre-show. They have things to do. They need to get into costume, makeup, um, especially ones who are going on stage. So yeah. Okay, yeah, so Jules, I have one more question for you before we wrap up the episode. I know we talked about horror stories, but Jules, what is your favorite stage door moment?
Um, that's so difficult. Favorite moment? Oh my goodness, I have so many. I think oh, it's so hard. I think meeting Derek Clenner for the first time was a really fun moment. He was very lovely. I had a really nice conversation with him. That was a pretty good moment. And then I think the last time I saw Casey perform, we had a very sweet interaction, and I think that was a good moment. Also going back to that Derek one, that was a night I also got to meet Ashley Loren too.
They're
And
both
oh
so
yeah,
sweet.
I saw like I joked that I won the Satine lottery because I met Jojo, Oyoyo, um, Ashley and Courtney all in the same day by coincidence. Um, and so I joked that I won the Satine lottery that day. I think yeah, I have so many. I don't think I have just one. I think so many moments have just been wonderful, but I think no, I think that Satine one was a pretty good one as well.
That's
It's hard.
iconic, honestly. All on
Yeah,
the
it
same
was
day.
all on the same day. It was pretty. Like I said, it's Teen Lottery 101. It was great. But yeah, I think that's that one for me. Yeah. What about you?
For me, little backstory. So when I went in May with my friend, we saw Moulin Rouge, and it was like Derek, and I had not seen it since 2019, and it was May 2023, by the way, for timestamp purposes. But I yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, let's stage door. Like, I had not seen Derek in anything. I knew of Anastasia, but like I had seen it. It was coming on tour, but then COVID happened, so then I didn't see it on tour. Was not really into Jagged Little Pill, so I wasn't really like a Derek Klena fan until he opened his mouth in the show, and I was like, oh yeah, so now I am a fan. And I had not stage doored for a while. Again, it's been since 2019 since I've been in New York. at a theater, probably the Al Hirschfeld. Um, and so I was like, oh yeah, I mean I can do this. This is fine. And I think Oyoyo had come out um prior, and I was fine with her. I was like, oh, like the show was so great. And I like showed her my necklace, which said like the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. And she loved that. And I had a really great interaction with her. Derek comes out and my words, I swear, were like, oh my god, you were really great, can we get a picture? Like that is how nervous I was. I was a nervous wreck, could not get anything out. Was just, and I love you, Derek, but like I was just so nervous. And so when I was just like, oh, like I'm going to his last performance in July, my friend, and I know you listen to this podcast, certain friend, so I love you. You know who you are. But I was talking to my friend, and she was like, "Oh my god, you have to redeem yourself." And I was literally just joking. I was quite literally just joking. I was just like, "Oh my god, what if I get him on video pinky promising me?" Because I take my pinky promises very seriously. But what if I get him on video doing that and we pinky promise each other that we're best friends? I was just joking. I was like, "Huh, that would be kind of funny, huh?" And flash forward to July 30th. I quite literally get that on video. And because I was bold enough to do that. And I was just like, gotta redeem myself. And I finally did redeem myself with that. I sent it to my friend, and I think this is where the inside joke happened because my friend sent back pooping my pants. You actually did it. And I was like, I did do it. So that's my favorite stage door moment is literally redeeming myself with that video and being bold enough to do it.
I love that. You're bolder than me. I'm too scared. I'm scared. I get scared. I get like, ah.
I was half expecting your favorite stage door moment to also be Dylan. Finally
That
meeting
was
him.
finally meeting him. That was
I was like,
unexpected.
speaking of you being shy and not being bold.
I know that was a moment I was like, whoa, how many months in the making? Like 9 months in the making. I was like, whoa. Um, that was crazy.
And
So
like
many.
both, so by the way, Jules and our friend Julia both were texting me things of like, oh my god, Dylan Paul from Moulin Rouge, by the way. Dylan just walked past and he
Thanks for clarifying.
you're welcome. I don't know how many other Dylans there are in Broadway, just in general. Um, but yeah, they were just like they kept texting me individually saying, oh my god, Dylan just walked by and I didn't say hi, or I froze up. I was like, what the, like, just say hi. It's not that hard. It's like one syllable. Just say hi, wave, do something. And then finally when it
If
happened,
anyone
both of
has
them.
social anxiety, you understand how hard it is.
I mean, I think I have a little bit too, but it's just like I don't know. I don't know. Like for me, I'm just like if I'm like hi. And it did take me a lot of strength to call him over when I was at the stage tour in July. But I was just like, oh my God, when is this gonna happen? Like it needs, and every single time they would go, I was like, I'm manifesting it for you. I'm manifesting, I'm manifesting. And it finally happened. And these two texted me pictures, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so proud.
Oh dear, oh dear. It's crazy. Anyway,
Yeah. So I guess to wrap this up, um, yeah, stage touring is fun. If you're ever in the city and it's like your first time seeing a show, definitely do it. I recommend it. But just be kind to people. Be kind to all the actors, every single actor. Cheer for every single actor. Be aware that there's other people around you. Be aware of their personal space as well. And just don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk.
simple as. Anyway,
Next week.
next week we're in the city. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
A week from today.
A week? Well,
Well, a week from
6 days.
yesterday
Oh yeah, a week
for
from
you.
yesterday for me. A
But
week
I was
from
going to say a week from today, Jules and I will be in the city together while knowing each other.
It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be RIP New York. You're gonna hate us by the end of it.
We're gonna be complete
Oh,
menaces.
menaces. Anyway, well, we will see you guys next time.
I apologize if this was just an hour long rant for me. I was heated. It's nice to get it out. Very cathartic, therapeutic, therapeutic. Okay. Bye,
Bye.
guys.